What's going on, guys? This is Jack, coach of the Wenatchee Wildcats, bringing you our Week 2 Team Builder versus Chaz, coach of the Aldehyde Aegislashes. Chaz is one of our division rivals. It is our first division match of the season. And just like all of our division rivals this year, this is a very scary matchup. His team you see over there on the left-hand side, it comprises of Mega Medicham, a very scary mon, a terrible wall breaker, decent speed stat that speed ties with a lot of my mons. Pretty good coverage moves for the most part, but just hits insanely hard. Salament's a really good setup sweeper. Can run more of a support set with Intimidate and stuff like that. Intimidate, Roost, Defog. I think it gets Dragon Tail, stuff like that. Or it can set up a Dragon Dance with Supersonic Sky Strike or Devastating Drake and just Wreck Shop with Moxie. Klefki, a really good support mon with Prankster, Light Screen, and Reflect, as well as Prankster T-Wave and Prankster Spikes. Keldeo, a very threatening mon, can run Specs, Scarf, a sub-calm mindset, and a variety of sets that can really put holes in my team. Roserade, a really good grass type, pretty bulky on the special side. Walls a good chunk of my team considerably well. Metagross, everyone knows the Metagross, bulky steel type, hits pretty hard, although relatively on the slow side. Cresselia, just a fat monster, can set up trick rooms if he decides to bring a trick room team. Can set up screens just like Klefki or a calm mindset as well, so got to be careful with that. Dust Noir, just a bulky ghost type. Don't really think I'll bring it to this match, although it does have a nice niche if he does bring it. Rotom Heat, a very good fire type. I used it last season of the LSBA. I love Rotom Heat. It's my favorite Rotom form. I prefer it over Rotom Wash just because I really like that fire electric typing with the levitate ability. I don't terribly consider it a fire type since its only fire type attack is Overheat. Although, of course, Overheat is an insanely strong attacking fire type move. Like, definitely got to be on the lookout for that. But it's not a spammable move since you do get that -2 special attack after use. So it's not like it can. It's not very good to stay in and click Overheat over and over. But definitely got to be on the watch out for that. Komala and Donphan, two of his rapid spinners. I was actually considering drafting Komala myself. I decided to go with Delmise instead. But it's a very interesting mon, pretty bulky on the special side, has a decent attack stat, but with rapid spin has wish support, although it doesn't have the highest HP stat, so it doesn't pass the best wishes. But a very good assault vest user as well with sucker punch, stab return, rapid spin, and a couple other coverage moves. And then Donphan as well, also a good stealth rocker and a rapid spinner, good ability and sturdy to ensure that it does get those rocks up. Priority and Ice Shard can be rather dangerous as well. So the team I think he's going to bring, I think the top three, Mega Medicham, Salamence, and Klefki, are for sure brings. Just because Mega Medicham can punch so many holes through my team, and then Salamence can come in once those holes are punched and just clean the rest of my team up with a Dragon Dance Moxie set. Klefki, because it can set up screens very easily. Basically, Klefki guarantees at least one, if not both, screens up, and can also hazard stack with spikes and cripple some of my mons with T-Wave. So I definitely got to watch out for those three. I think Keldeo is a very likely bring as well. He might bring Cresselia. Cresselia is a very fat mon. However, if he does bring Cresselia, I think it will probably be a calm mindset rather than screens, just because I think on his team, Klefki is the better screen setter. However, he can bring screens Cress as well. Like I mentioned, Dust Noir could have a very interesting role. However, I don't think it comes in this match just because it doesn't match up too well against a lot of my mons. So I think he's bringing Medicham, Salamence, Klefki, Cresselia, Calm Mind Cress, Keldeo, and then possibly Donphan for the stealth rocks and the rapid spinning, or Roserade because he wants to get Toxic Spikes up and be able to wall some more of my Mons pretty well. So with that in mind, those are the Mons I'm thinking he's going to bring, and that is kind of what I was thinking going into this team builder. Of course, I did make sure I had preparations for the other Mons that he has on the team, to make sure like if he brings Rotom Heats, for example, I'm not totally off put and it suits my entire team. So going into this match, going into this season, actually, I really wanted to use Munium Z Genesis Supernova Mew. And I was actually going to bring it versus Rasha last week. However, he did have the Mega Sableye, which of course entirely puts it off, and he has a very bulky team. And I wasn't entirely confident that I'd be able to get that move off. However, versus Chaz, he does not have a single Dark type on his team. He does have quite a few Mons, such as Metagross and Cresselia, that can take the hit very well. Metagross being 4 times resistant to the Psychic, and Cresselia being 2 times resistant and being extremely bulky. However, I really wanted to try this set out. I felt like this was the best matchup in order to be able to do that, and I really wanted to take advantage of it while I could. So I'm bringing a Nasty Plot, Max Speed, Max Special Attack Mew with Psychic because that is necessary for the Genesis Supernova, Shadow Ball, and Flamethrower. Basically, that's just your basic coverage moves. Once Genesis Supernova goes off, then it sets up the Psychic Terrain, powering up my future Psychic type moves for the next 5 turns. Shadow Ball is there mostly for the Metagross and the Cresselia, and then Flamethrower is there for the Klefki and the Metagross as well. This is my late game sweeper. I have to make sure that Metagross or mostly Cresselia have to be weakened, as well as the Dust Noir. Dust Noir is very bulky and can take a hit and threaten Mew out pretty well. But yeah, just like my Manaphy last week, Mew this week is just gotta wait until the right time to set up a Nasty Plot, fire off that Genesis Supernova, and then try to win the game. The next one I have here is a Shaman. I really wanted to bring a Healing Wish Shaman this week because just in case I'm not able to, or I fire off my potential sweep with Mew a little too early and it gets a little weakened, I want to be able to have a second shot with that Mon. So I decided to bring Healing Wish Shaman in order to keep that Mon and a couple other Mons that you'll see nice and healthy in case I felt like they could do more in the match, and I wanted to give them another fresh start. Giga Drain there as primary stab, nice health regen, helps against Donphan as well as against Keldeo, as long as he's not a Calm Mindset. Of course, once he gets a couple of Calm Minds off, Giga Drain's not going to be doing too much. And then Earth Power is there for Klefki and Metagross. I believe with this set, the only Mon I don't hit, or I don't hit the Salamence or the Rotom Heat. And then I have Synthesis for longevity, and most, especially bulky, to be able to take hits from Keldeo, Crest if he starts setting up with Crest, Rotom Heat as well. And then 28 Speedy Vs I put in for a reason. I'm pretty sure it was to outspeed a Rotom Heat, but it wasn't Timid Max Speed Rotom Heat. It was like a specific set of Rotom Heat, or in case Roserade wants to speed creep me a little bit, if he's bringing a bulky Roserade, then I can outspeed that a little bit. The next Mon I'm bringing is Doublade. I love this Mon, as you guys already know, and it just walls so much of his team if he's not running the correct coverage for it. Mega Medicham kind of has a 4 move slot syndrome against me. He needs High Jump Kick and Zen Headbutt / Psycho Cut in order to get that primary damage off. Fake Out is an insanely good move. He needs Bullet Punch because the next member of my team outspeeds and can OHKO it pretty easily, so he needs Bullet Punch to be able to break through that. He needs the Ice Punch in order to break through Zapdos, and he needs Fire Punch in order to break through Doublade. And he can't bring all those moves, and if he's lacking the Fire Punch, then Doublade walls it so nicely. I was going back and forth between trying to bring a more offensive Doublade versus a more defensive Doublade. Obviously, defensive would be able to take hits, some more hits. However, I really wanted to make sure that I scored the one or two hit KOs that I needed to. Shadow Claw and Shadow Sneak. Shadow Claw is mostly there in case I need to hit a little bit harder. Toxic is for Cresselia to help break through that. Shadow Claw on a bold max defensive Cresselia only does like 30 to 40%. And obviously he can sub up, Calm Mind, Moonlight, etc. and stall me out with that. So I needed Toxic to help me break through that. And then I could have run Iron Head for more reliable damage. However, I felt like the only Mon that I was really going to use Iron Head on was Salamence, because most everything else gets hit by Shadow Claw except for the Kamala, obviously. But if you bring Salamence and start setting up Dragon Dances, Gyro Ball is a very nice 2-hit KO, and I believe a Shadow Sneak following a Gyro Ball actually does kill, so that's the set that I bring with Dew Blade. And then this Mon, I love the matchup with Swell this match. Obviously, it can't break through Metagross, Cresselia, or Dusknoir just because those things are so fat. Metagross obviously does resist it. However, once his team is weakened, Swallow just wrecks shop if he doesn't have the correct priority, which I believe the only priority he has on this team is Ice Shard from Donphan and Bullet Punch from Mega Medicham. And Bullet Punch from Metagross, I'm sorry. So once those things are weakened and or gone, Boomburst Choice Specs just has a field day. And I can actually run Modest on the Swallow because the fastest mon on his team is the Keldeo, which actually at timid max speed is slower than Swallow by 1 point when it's Modest. So I'm allowed to run Modest for that little extra damage with the choice specs. And as long as I play it right, I can have a lot of fun with Swallow. So I'm really excited to bring it as its debut for the LSPAS Season 4. The next one I have is Zapdos. This is an extra check to Medicham and Salamence, as well as Metagross. Basically, like I was saying before, Medicham has a 4 move slot syndrome. If he decides to bring Z Salamence, Supersonic Sky Strike, Zapdos can eat it and hit it back with an HP Ice. I may regret bringing only Volt Switch as its stab move. However, I really like the momentum that it brings me. But I may regret bringing that without the extra power, or the maybe times I actually want to stay in and I don't want to pivot out. But I feel like that was the best option because I really wanted some momentum grabbing on this team. And then Defog, because I'm really afraid of hazard stacking. He has a huge potential in order to hazard stack me with spikes from Klefki, spikes and toxic spikes from Roserade, stealth rocks from Donphan. And I think he's at least going to bring spikes, either on Klefki or Roserade. And I really like that Zapdos is immune to those and can defog them away rather reliably. And then my last one here is the Mega Blastoise. I was really close to bringing Manaphy on this team, but I decided that with the Mew, having 2 setup sweepers on this team was just a little much. It's a little outside my comfort zone, and I wanted something that can more reliably take some hits, as well as an extra check to Cresselia. So I decided to bring Blastoise. Scald in order to get some burn damage. Ice Beam is there for the Salamence. Dark Pulse is there for the Cresselia. And then I was deciding between Rapid Spin and Protect. I decided to bring Protect because High Jump Kick from Mega Medicham does have a 50% chance to one-hit KO, whereas Thunder Punch, it does like around 70-75%. So I can Protect Scout. If he decides to go for the Thunder Punch, then I know I can take it and fire off his Scald, hopefully burn it. And if he goes for the High Jump Kick, then obviously he crashes, loses 50%, and then Medicham just became so much easier to handle. I may regret that. I may want to bring the Rapid Spin because if he brings rocks on the Donphan, then obviously Zapdos will get worn down. and I may lose my hazard removal. So I may want to I may regret not bringing the rapid spin, and I might actually change that before we actually fight. I am recording this a couple days before we do fight, but I just wanted to protect to help scout what Mega Medicham wants to do. As you guys have noticed, I am pretty worried about that Mega Medicham. That thing is a huge threat. However, I am not so confident about this fight. It can either go extremely well or extremely terribly. I think I have the right defensive checks in Shaman, Doublade, and Zapdos, as well as some mid-game wall breakers in Swellow and in Blastoise. And I really hope that Mew can put in some work. I at least, even if it doesn't sweep, I at least want to fire off that Genesis Supernova. But yeah, I really think that this match can go either really well or extremely terribly. I'm really looking forward to it. This is our first division match, so it really counts. I have an extremely competitive division, very scary matchups against all three coaches, and I'm really excited for the rest of the season. Thanks for tuning in, guys.